Your job as a bus operator consists of a continuous series of customer contacts. To the public, you are the transportation company. Building and keeping the goodwill of your customers is an important part of your job. You are expected to be efficient, skillful, careful, and safe in the handling of your bus. It is equally important for you to get along well with your customers, to maintain good customer relations. Each day's run will present situations when the right attitude and approach will be needed to keep or regain the goodwill of a customer. This is Joe Bailey. He's an experienced operator who knows how to make friends of his customers. Let's see how he handles some of the things that happen in a day's work. Of course, all these things won't happen every day, but sooner or later you'll have to meet the same situations. The first thing the customer wants to know is where the bus is going. Display the correct destination sign. Center the reading in the display space so it can be easily read. This is a factor in customer relations that helps to prevent misunderstandings and saves you trouble. A pleasant, cheerful manner usually brings a similar response from your passengers. They appreciate a pleasant smile and a cheerful greeting. Always remember that the most important people in this business are your passengers. They pay your wages. So accept their fares correctly and courteously. This is a common occurrence, the passenger who forgets to pay. One way to handle this is to say, "Your fare, please," before the passenger gets too far beyond you. Most passengers won't object to a friendly reminder. And it always helps when the fare is paid for the operator to smooth things over. A pleasant "thank you" will do the trick. Complaints of errors in change are a frequent occurrence, but the error is not always made by the operator. Often the passenger is mistaken. If a passenger returns to claim an error in change, tell her quietly and politely that you're sorry that neither you nor she noticed it at the time. If you're sure you have made no error, explain that the claim must be handled according to company regulations. In a situation such as this, make every effort to be courteous and considerate of the passenger. Sometimes you'll get an expired transfer. Regardless of how you feel, try not to give the passenger the impression that you believe he's trying to fool you. Just return the transfer and say, "Sorry, but this transfer is expired and I cannot accept it. Have you another one in your pocket?" Remember to control your voice when talking to the passenger so as to attract as little attention as possible. Sometimes the passenger does find another transfer and everybody's happy. Of course, most of the time he has no other transfer and you collect a fare. A condition like this is annoying to passengers and usually slows up service. If you have much of this, your trip will be delayed and you'll have difficulty maintaining your schedule. To avoid crowding, when you open the door, say clearly in a friendly way, please let them out first. This is just a case of making your work easier by saying the right thing the right way at the right time. A bus crowded at the front means inconvenience for both operator and passengers. A repeated, "Please step to the rear," should have the desired effect if said in a friendly manner. And remember to say please. That's indispensable. Try to make it appear by your attitude that your request is made in the passenger's interest. You'll find it easier if you make this request before your bus is overly crowded. It helps you, as well as your passengers, to announce street names and transfer points clearly and distinctly. Passengers appreciate this service, and it helps you to keep your schedule by getting passengers to the doors more quickly. Sometimes a passenger neglects to read the destination sign on a bus or is unfamiliar with the route. When a passenger finds that he's boarded the wrong bus, explain the mistake and tell him what bus he should take. Let him out at the next stop. Usually a situation like this can be prevented if you announce your route and destination while passengers are boarding the bus. Some passengers are quick to get excited when something goes wrong. This one missed her stop. This is an occurrence which isn't always the operator's fault. Just say, "I'm sorry, I missed the buzzer." Always be courteous and don't blame the passenger. Usually the passenger will leave the bus with no hard feelings and perhaps a realization that maybe she didn't ring the buzzer after all. The Lost and Found service maintained by your company furnishes a very valuable service for your passengers. An article found on a bus is the property of the person who lost it, not of the finder. When a passenger finds a lost article and turns it over to you, thank him and make a note of his name and address. Articles which are turned over to you or which you find should be turned in at the end of your run. The way you handle your bus has a great deal to do with customer relations. Only a poor or indifferent operator will make the passengers walk for the bus, like this. This is not only inconvenient, but unsafe. Now let's do it right. It's just as easy to pull right up to the curb, and it shows much more consideration for the passenger. From the operator's viewpoint, passengers may often seem unreasonable, such as this man who wants to get off at an unauthorized stop. He's putting up a good argument, but you have a better one. Just explain to the passenger the danger of alighting at other than regular stops. Make him feel that you're acting solely in the interest of his personal safety. When it's explained to him in a pleasant manner, he's usually quite willing to wait for the regular stop. Consideration for your passengers is always important. It's easy to look the other way at a transfer point, but this doesn't give the service for which you're responsible. Always give the customer the consideration he's entitled to. It pays. The cardinal sin in transportation is to pass up passengers for whom you have room in your bus. If your leader should do this, you're in for trouble. You can't blame this fellow for feeling mad at bus companies in general and bus operators in particular. Because somebody else forgot about goodwill and service, you're going to have a dissatisfied customer. Well, here he is, and he's going to tell you plenty. You'll soon learn what happened. Of course, there isn't much you can do about it, but remember that you have an audience. The impression of courtesy you make on them means added goodwill for you. Be pleasant. Tell him you're sorry it happened, and don't give him an argument. Remember, he isn't mad at you personally. It's too bad you have to take all this, but it's just such a situation that's the real test of a good operator. The passenger who insists on talking to you while the bus is in motion is often annoying. You should never encourage unnecessary conversation. One of the things to do when something like this occurs is to say politely, "I'm sorry, but I'm not supposed to talk while the bus is in motion." Then, when the bus is stopped, give the passenger the information she wants. When your vehicle is in motion, driving requires your full attention. Torn or soiled clothing sometimes results from conditions inside the bus. For instance, something may catch a stocking, or grease left by another passenger may soil a dress. Such an occurrence is distressing to the passenger and operator alike. If the matter is called to your attention, tell the passenger how sorry you are that it happened. Ask for her name and address, and submit report. Inspect the cause of the trouble and remove it so that no further damage can be caused. Vehicle failure may be caused by a number of things, such as tire, motor, or brake trouble. If your vehicle fails for any reason, announce the facts clearly to your passengers and tell them you're sorry, but you'll have to ask them to transfer to the next bus. Give each passenger an emergency transfer so that he or she can board the next bus with no inconvenience. Sometimes an operator seems to feel that he has special privileges. He forgets that other people also have the right to use the streets. At crosswalks, pedestrians always have the right of way. Even if the light is with you, pedestrians must be safeguarded. Treat other motorists as you would have them treat you. Avoid crowding or cutting in. Set the example of proper speed, safe and courteous driving, and careful observance of all traffic regulations. Good customer relations is the result of building goodwill through friendly contacts with your passengers and prospective passengers, through friendly, courteous, and safe transportation. In review, meet your passengers with a cheerful smile and a friendly greeting. Thank your passengers when they pay their fare. Use courtesy and tact instead of arguing with the passenger. When asking your passengers to do something, make it seem solely in their interest, and always add, please. Call street names and transfer points clearly and distinctly. Handle your bus in a way that will help to build goodwill. Stop for every passenger if you have room in your bus. Always drive with consideration for other users of the streets. Remember, when you build goodwill, you help to make your job pleasant and easier.